2. The Airbnb Basement. I had booked an Airbnb in Portland for a week while attending a work conference. The house looked completely normal online. Cozy living room, modern kitchen, quiet neighborhood. Nothing seemed off about it at all. The host was a woman named Clara. She greeted me politely when I arrived, handed me the keys, showed me around briefly, and then left. Overall, she seemed friendly enough. The first night, there was completely normal. But on the second night, around midnight, I suddenly heard a loud bang coming from downstairs. It sounded like something heavy had fallen over in the kitchen. Half asleep, I got out of bed and went downstairs to check, but everything looked perfectly fine. Nothing was broken, nothing was out of place. That's when I noticed something strange. The door beside the laundry room was slightly open. I froze for a second because I could have sworn that door had been closed earlier. Curious, I slowly walked over to it. It led down into the basement. Cold air drifted up from the darkness below. I reached for the light switch beside the stairs, but it didn't work. Honestly, I should have just gone back upstairs. But instead, I pulled out my phone and turned on the flashlight. Slowly, I started walking down the stairs. The basement was much larger than I expected. Way bigger than the house above should have allowed. Concrete floors, exposed pipes, old shelves covered in dust. Then my flashlight landed on something in the far corner. A mattress. There were blankets on it. Next to it sat empty food cans, water bottles, cigarette butts, and a small lantern. Someone had clearly been living down there. Recently. My stomach instantly dropped. I backed away slowly, then turned and hurried upstairs as fast as I could. And that's when I heard it. Footsteps. Heavy footsteps coming up the basement stairs. I slammed the basement door shut and locked it immediately. A second later, bang! Something hit the other side of the door so hard the entire frame shook. Then another slam, and another. I stumbled backward in complete panic while a quiet laugh came from the other side. Not normal laughter. It sounded like whoever was down there was enjoying scaring me. My hands were shaking as I grabbed my phone and called Clara repeatedly, but she never answered. Then suddenly I heard another sound behind me, the front door unlocking. I turned just in time to see Clara calmly walking inside carrying grocery bags. But the moment she saw me standing near the basement door, her expression completely changed. "You opened that door?" she asked quietly. Before I could answer, bang! Another violent hit shook the basement door. Clara dropped the groceries instantly. "Go upstairs," she whispered nervously. "Right now." I didn't question her. We both ran upstairs into the bedroom and locked the door behind us. For the next hour, we heard footsteps slowly moving around the house downstairs, sometimes stopping right outside the bedroom door, then moving away again. Eventually, police arrived and searched the property. That's when everything became even more disturbing. Turns out Clara's ex-boyfriend had secretly been living inside a hidden crawlspace connected to the basement for weeks without her knowing. Police found ropes, knives, duct tape, and photographs of previous Airbnb guests hidden down there. After that night, I never stayed in an Airbnb again. A few years ago, I was driving through Montana late at night after visiting friends. My GPS rerouted me through a long forest road because of construction. For almost 2 hours, I didn't pass a single car. Then suddenly I saw an old gas station glowing in the distance. It looked abandoned except for one dim light inside. I stopped because my fuel was nearly empty. The moment I stepped out, the silence felt wrong. No insects, no wind, nothing. Inside the station sat a skinny man watching an old TV with static on the screen. He slowly looked up at me. "You shouldn't be here this late," he said. I laughed nervously and asked for gas. He pointed outside without speaking again. The pump barely worked, but eventually started filling. While waiting, I noticed another car parked behind the station. Its windows were smashed, and there were dark stains all over the driver's door. I immediately felt uneasy. Then I realized the skinny man from inside was now standing at the doorway staring directly at me. Not blinking, just staring. The pump suddenly stopped at half a tank. I tried restarting it, but nothing happened. Then the lights around the station shut off completely. Everything went pitch black. I heard footsteps running through the gravel somewhere nearby. Fast, circling my car. I jumped inside and locked the doors. Something slammed against the back of the vehicle hard enough to shake it. Then another impact hit the passenger side. I started the engine and floored it. As my headlights swept across the station one final time, I saw 3 people standing there in the darkness. One of them was holding a shotgun. I drove nearly 100 miles before stopping again. The next day, I checked my route history. That gas station didn't exist on any map. The neighbor upstairs. I moved into a cheap apartment in Chicago during winter. The building was old, but the price was unbelievably low for the area. The landlord only had one strange rule. Don't bother the tenant upstairs. I thought nothing of it until my second night. At exactly 3:14 a.m., loud footsteps started pacing across the ceiling. Back and forth, for nearly 2 hours. Every night after that, the same thing happened. Eventually, I got annoyed enough to ask the landlord about it. He looked uncomfortable. He doesn't like visitors, he said. That answer only made me more curious. One night, the footsteps suddenly stopped. Then I heard something else. Dragging, like something heavy being pulled across the floor. Then a loud thud directly above my bedroom. I finally decided to go upstairs myself. The hallway leading to the apartment smelled rotten. When I knocked, no one answered, but the door slowly creaked open on its own. Inside was almost complete darkness. The apartment looked empty except for dozens of plastic sheets hanging from the ceiling. And there was blood on the floor. Fresh blood. I backed away instantly. Then a deep voice behind me whispered, "You shouldn't have come up here." I turned and saw a massive man standing at the end of the hallway holding a hammer. I ran downstairs faster than I ever have in my life and called the police. Turns out the upstairs tenant had been living with the body of his dead brother for weeks. The dragging sounds were him moving the corpse around the apartment. I moved out the next morning.